All right, welcome to this week's Points and Miles report here. Apologize for running late. As you probably many of you all are experiencing, is a bit of a snowpocalypse right now. Right now, where I'm located in central Ohio, I think we're at 10 inches right now. Just got done with the snow blower, have to go back out after this. And we're looking at about, they're right now saying 14 to 16 inches. So I'm curious of where you all are at, and are you all getting this? I know a lot of people in the Tennessee, Kentucky area are seeing a bit of ice at this point. So I see Yurik says he got a lot of rain going on. I'm glad that it's only rain for you. And I see that Lancome Sunday snowstorm special. Yes, definitely. We look like we're going to have another 7, 8 hours of snow to get to that 14 to 16 inches. So looking forward to getting that. We have 1 inch so far in Massachusetts, started about an hour ago. Okay. Yeah, I don't know how much. I know it's supposed to be a good amount that's supposed to be getting up there. New York, New Jersey. I didn't see how much for Massachusetts yet. So hope everybody stays safe though. But not that this is a weather report, but it is a big deal that's going on right now. Got a lot to talk about. So we will get ready to jump in it. And Yurik says there was some ice overnight, but it's melted good. I've seen that down in Tennessee, they were having the 911 was out in one town, and I think there was 200,000 that didn't have power between the Southeast and Texas. Been watching a lot of national weather reporting, just found it interesting. So, but let's go ahead and get started. Got a few things to make sure to get to you all's attention. Hope the sound's okay. I'm still trying to get my thing fixed with my computer to use my normal mic. If something doesn't come out as clear, I apologize and let me know. But let's go ahead and jump into this. And obviously, we jump in with the lead story for this. And so we've got Bilt 2.0 right now. And as you all know, I've been pretty down on Bilt. Unfortunately, I mean, I hoped for the best with Bilt, and especially after going through the Mesa process and all the good that I thought it was doing, but obviously they were hemorrhaging in the background. And all I wanted to do to see from Bilt was put together a product and a system that can give you all longevity, make you enough money, but give us just the basics of what we needed for points, some ease of use. And unfortunately, that for most of us, I have talked to a few people that are feeling pretty good about Bilt. Not too many, but it's been unfortunate. And I'm a person with a mortgage that was really hoping that Bilt was going to put this together where it would be a no-brainer for me, and that's not been the case. So I had held out hope that maybe the last chance of redemption for them was going to be in the Bilt Cash 2.0. And after reading through it and kind of running some numbers and all, it didn't reach that level. Now I have a video. Y'all know I'm a little slow on these to get something out, but I've got a video that I will have done today, and then I'm going to give it to the members of the advisory board today, which I always encourage you to consider joining. Um, uh, you can jump out at any time if it's not what you're expecting, but normally I provide different tidbits of information as we go through the week that are timely. And I try to get a live stream in or recorded stream into for them each week. So consider that. There will be a link in the description. But anyway, I'll have that out to everybody by tomorrow. And I really went into each of the options. So I won't go into that, but we can definitely talk about what we're seeing at this point. So let's take a look at it. So as far as this, as a quick recap, we had the rollout last Wednesday of Bilt 2.0. We had the New York Times that jumped in real quick that said it was the most confusing rewards program they had ever seen. We saw that Friday, Ankur Jain came out with a new redemption option that was supposed to be easier because you didn't have to factor in Bilt Cash. And then this week, we received the details of the Bilt Cash redemptions. And I don't know about you. I'll be curious of you all's thoughts, but meh at best and disappointing at worst. But let's talk about what Bilt Cash is, because for many of us, this is the first time we're kind of hearing about Bilt Cash, but it has been an underlying benefit for Bilt for a little while. It just wasn't something that was talked about a lot. And I don't know how many people really used it. So you can earn Bilt Cash in a couple of ways. It's obviously their in-house currency that can be earned. One, with these new cards, you can earn 4% of all of your non-rent or mortgage spend on Bilt Cash. And that would be one option. And obviously that's new. The second option that's existed for a while is getting $50 for every 25,000 Bilt points that you've earned within a calendar year. Those are the two ways to do. Now, these new redemptions that came out last week are going to, most of them, I think most, if not almost all of them, are available as of February 1. Now, I'll only touch on a couple of them. Obviously, the main item is using Bilt Cash to be able to utilize towards paying the necessary 3% so that you can earn points on all of your mortgage or your rent. So $30 in Bilt Cash will unlock 1,000 rent or mortgage points. Now, one thing that I've mentioned before, but I want to make sure everybody's aware of, when the second option came out for Bilt with the points, and that you wouldn't get the Bilt Cash, you couldn't earn that on a credit card if you are choosing to go with the points route, was that ended up taking away any option of you trying to pay the difference of that 3% fee. So if you are going to use Bilt Cash to unlock the points, you have to have all of that cash that Bilt Cash needed to cash in those points. You will not be able to make up the difference. So if you've got $2,000 on your rent or mortgage and you only have enough Bilt Cash for 1,000, then that's all of the points that you will be eligible for that month. So it does have some importance there. Now, of the ones that, and there's a bunch of them. I think if anybody has ever thought about the American Express Platinum being a coupon book, this is a coupon book on steroids with a lot of nickel, dime, monthly, quarterly type of credits, a lot to manage. But I will touch on one of them that obviously is one that is worth considering if you can have the spend. All of this will always depend upon the spend, if you have enough of it. So there isn't a points booster option that you can utilize to end up raising your regular multiplier. So like if you have the Palladium at 2x, you can utilize your Bilt Cash to increase that points to 3x. That would be an example. Now that is something that is tangible and can be beneficial. It's a lot. I mean, you do have to have the cash to be able to cash to unlock that benefit, though. Some people have talked about the Blade helicopter, but the Blade helicopter thing is niche, that you have to be in New York, New Jersey to be able to take it. They did have another Blade helicopter in Europe. I don't know where that status is, but that's what it is. It's to basically take a helicopter to the airport. I don't know how many people. I'm sure there may be some other factions to be able to use the Blade helicopter if you're in New York, but that's one. I saw about increasing your status, but there's so much we don't know about that right now. Remember, if you've been in this for a while, we have talked about where at the beginning, having gold status or above essentially guaranteed you 75% minimum and normally 100% transfer bonus on your points. And they ran that every month. So there was always a very good benefit for having that. We started seeing where that went down, though, where we ended up seeing that we weren't getting point transfers every month. We saw that the percentages were kind of all over the place. We also saw where the level that status you achieved didn't even matter. So we don't know what we're going to see from Bilt Rent Day going forward. And the last time that we heard from Bilt officials, they had not even curated what the March numbers were going to look like and what the promotion was going to be. So it has potential to be worth something, but it also has potential to be worth as little as it's been over the last 6 to 9 months. So that's been unfortunate. So, but definitely, if you want the specifics and thoughts and all, definitely make sure to check out the video that comes out tomorrow regarding it, where I'll get into all of the options. But I promise you that the two best options that most people are going to see is the points boost as well as the status, and for a few people, the blade. The rest of it is a lot of coupon small credits that you would really need a spreadsheet to be able to keep up with. And I'm a fan of a spreadsheet, but this would definitely make me have to page multiple pages down to be able to manage it. So, but I'll be curious of what you all's thoughts are on it. Now, the one thing I did want to touch on is and I really appreciate the feedback from the viewers and from all of you all as far as what are your thoughts, because not everybody's thoughts are the same as mine by any means, and that's what makes this whole thing great to talk about, because everybody's situation is going to be different. But I've seen a few people had commented about the palladium being the answer, and at least for the short term, maybe longer. And I do agree that it can be, but there's a few hurdles that we have to look at getting through. But let's talk a little bit about the Palladium. So the Palladium is a $495 annual fee card. The welcome bonus includes 50,000 Bilt points. You'll get $300 in Bilt Cash, and you'll get gold status as the sign-up bonus for $4,000 in purchases in the first 3 months. And then going forward, you'll get 2x on your spend. You'll get $200 in annual Bilt Cash, and you'll get that $400 hotel credit split into $200 in the first 6 months, $200 in the last 6 months, and then, of course, the priority pass that you'll also get. And so my initial thoughts are, yes, in the short term, there can be some wins with the Palladium. Obviously, if you're getting that $200 annual Bilt Cash and you're getting the $300 for people, you might be able to get 5-6 months, depending upon what your rent or mortgage is, and have that fully covered without even worrying about the spend. The 2x is solid to be able to get that for. I think that in the 50,000 points is nothing to sneeze at. It's obviously not what we've seen with Chase at going from their Sapphire Preferred from 60,000 down to 75,000 points with $5,000 in spend in the first 3 months, I believe. So I think that those all have benefits short term. I think that the first key thing that I think here's the hurdles that I end up seeing with it. And once again, this not everybody's mileage will vary depending upon how they believe. So number one, I've seen people equate Bilt points to two points per dollar, or 2 cents per point. It's not to say that you can't get 2 cents per point out of Bilt, and if you do, and you've either done it or you feel comfortable with it, then you should value it. If I was telling somebody that is not normally used to truly maximizing Bilt points, then I might say be more conservative at 1.5 cents per point. Now that's shaving hairs, but it does make a difference when people do some of these calculations. And once again, you know what you are able to do based upon your experience. The other thing that I think is the major issue is it's $495. For people that are in the hobby, like myself and many of you all, you may already have a slot or are prepared to spend $400, $500 or more on a premium card that that obviously makes it worth it to you. I think the hurdle for Bilt as a company, though, is they are going from a a no annual fee credit card that people pretty much enjoyed. Obviously, didn't make them money, them and Wells Fargo, but it was a no annual fee card. You've got to, for them as a company, they got to get over the hurdle that of what percentage of people that had that no annual fee card are they willing and prepared to spend $495, either because they don't have an interest in having a card with that high of an annual fee and don't want to calculate it if it works out for them, or two, they already have a premium credit card which will mimic the priority pass that they might already have on another card, and the only reason you might be getting it is to trying to maximize the mortgages and the rent. So those are hurdles that they have to get through. The other one that you have to consider is the $400 hotel credit is good, but once again, you have to determine if it has that full value, because one, you have to use it with a 2-night minimum in each way. Two is that you're going to be going through their portal. Not that it's necessarily bad. I've been in their portal before. I haven't gotten a hotel room there from there though. And so that's something that I just would suggest that everybody needs to weigh. Once again, eyes wide open. If you're seeing that it makes sense for you, that's great. And I think for many people in the first year, it can get there. Even if you're getting 5-6 months of your rent or mortgage covered in points with all of what they're giving to you between the welcome bonus and the annual, then at least you're going to be able to figure out if year two makes sense for that. So I'm curious as far as how that may look for you all. But I agree with people that do talk about the Palladium being an option. But I think in the grand scheme of things, all of them are on the table if you are just trying to see what it might look like for a year. Even a no annual fee card for it, if you feel you have the spend to get the points, can still be worth it, even if it's not all of your points, because you have nothing invested in it, other than obviously a slot in your 524, whatever calculation you might look at. The $95 Obsidian, obviously you have the $100 hotel credit. If you believe you're going to use it for that, that can obviously help address that issue. And you've got the 3X on groceries or dining as you go through the year. And then you have the Palladium. So there is something for everyone. I just think that as a company and as them trying to deal with the people that already had the program, these are some huge hurdles for people to go through. And I see that more from the people that are not content creators like myself, that are really having stress or issues or problems or confusion about it, versus myself and other hobbyists that may say, oh, well, you just got to put some work in. As a person that was looking forward to this mortgage one, I've not made the choice yet. But I'll tell you something interesting, and maybe you all are seeing it if you all are Bilt card holders, is that there was like not a personalized, but it was like a letter via email from Bilt, encouraging to get the Bilt card, and if I needed any questions answered and all. That is coming because they know how bad the publicity is for them right now. They have got to try to uh, get people out of this chamber of seeing all this bad news about Bilt and be willing to do it. But it tells you that their situation is in bad shape right now. And the reality is, I don't know if they can get out of this. I think that the Bilt Cash redemption kind of pool was really my thought of what their last chance was. Now, maybe they do have a card up their sleeve, but we'll have to see about how that looks, because I still have heavy concerns about it as far as longevity. It was never a question of if they were going to make it through and launch in year one, but Mesa was able to launch and do it for 1 year, and then they collapsed. Not to say that Bilt will too, but that's kind of my thoughts, and I wanted to kind of share just some initial thoughts on Bilt Cash and see what you all's thoughts are. But I'll definitely have that video out for everyone tomorrow. But let me jump back into the comments so I can catch up. I appreciate everybody taking their time, whether you're in the snow belt like I am, or you're catching some ice, or maybe you're lucky enough just to have some rain. Let's see. Good morning to Carlos. Appreciate you coming in. Thanks for coming. Yurik has said he went to Costco yesterday and it was almost alone there. That's interesting. I think that I've got a Costco membership, and They were absolutely bombarded along with grocery stores for us on up to Friday. And then what ended up happening was, of course, probably for many other states, the governor, the mayor of my area was basically saying, please go home, read a book, binge watch, get off the road. The time to get groceries is over. So that's interesting for that. No cars on the road for Uric. There was just watching the news before getting on, and one of the 315 road here in Central Ohio has a goes up at an incline. Cars were getting stuck. There's like 5 or 6 cars that were stuck on the highway because they were foolish enough to be driving on it. So thanks for sharing that. And Bilt Cash is a joke. Yeah, there's going to be some people that can find something out of it, but it's just so much level of effort and work, even for me to try to figure out if I'll probably get one of these cards for 1 year, but I just do not see that this is going to work. I'm tending to lean towards what people are talking about as far as go ahead and forfeiting the 3% in getting the 3X on the Alaska miles. I'm strongly considering it. I'm a fan of their currency. I see myself probably trying to take a few trips over the next few years, not too fast, flying out of their Seattle, the setup that they're doing in Seattle, to fly to Europe as well as other locations. So I'm definitely a fan of it, and I definitely have used it for American Airlines. So I still haven't done the math for it, but I'm definitely looking at that as a possible option. So I agree that unfortunately, Bilt Cash is a problem. Canceled your Bilt application. There was no credit pull. Well, that's good. Something to keep in mind, because obviously we don't want to end up having to take a hard credit pull when we put in the application and not being able to get it out of there. So thanks for sharing that. And then we've got Tim's Points of Adventure. I'm letting my Bilt card go to niche. Yeah, unfortunately, there's a lot of people that are feeling that way. If you've got good spend that you can do on other things, then once again, if you can meet this, I've seen some people try to do calculations at 25 and 50%, especially with the Palladium and being able to make the numbers work. I haven't delved too deep into it. I'm kind of fixated on the fact of the 75%, but I'll continue to look at that. But I've appreciated everybody giving their thoughts on that as well. No More Mr. Nice Guy says you need an advanced math degree. It does, and even if you do have one, the numbers still may not make a bit of sense on it. So I definitely agree with you on that. Uric said I have advanced math degree and I'm not going to get the card. So there we go with that answer. Carlos ended up saying, applied for the Palladium on day one. After all the hoop jumping and rules, I'm not going through with the card. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I understand it, though. I know that a lot of people, that's been the major card people have talked about, is saying as the way that they are seeing to get over the hump and to make it work that first year for it. And so, but you're definitely not alone. Yeah, Carlos to talk about the same for that. Agreed. Morning to Timote. Appreciate you stopping in, sir, on this Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon for some. The question is, if you have 3X on everything with the Palladium, you will pay 1.67 cents per point versus 5% on the everything card, like Kroger family cards. Yeah, I think that's it's a matter of what gymnastics everybody's going to try to do with this, and whether it's going to be, if you are only in the venue of the cash back, if you're willing to do the mix of points in versus miles. It's also how much you value Bilt Cash. 4%, as they keep talking about, as cash back, it's not. I don't value it at 4%. Some people may. I just don't, with the restrictions that come with it, and the fact that I can only use what they give it to me for, and I'm at risk for other potential things that come up. I can't give it a value of 4%, at least for me. And that's the thing. All of this is so going to be so personal for people of where they're trying to go. And I think also it's what was our original expectations. My original expectation was, especially going through Bilt, having Mesa, was that I wanted to get my 1 point per dollar on what I spent on my mortgage. And when Mesa failed after requiring $1,000 to be spent per month, I was perfectly fine with it potentially getting to 1250 as a straight across the board kind of thing. But these numbers now, where you're talking about, and once again, everybody's spend is different. I don't have that kind of spend for me to get my full 1 point on my mortgage without me giving up the opportunity cost on what I could be doing with all that other spend. And that's once again what everybody has to determine. What do you value getting your, whether it's 2,000 points for your rent or mortgage, or 3,000, and spread it out over the 12 months, 24, 36,000 points. What are you going to get from it? And if you can truly believe that you're going to be able to make that number reach a certain dollar amount, then it does make perfect sense in some cases. Even with me being a huge fanboy of Hyatt and believing I can 9 times out of 10 get better than 2 cents per point on Hyatt. Once again, that's it's with figuring some things out in holidays and such like that. But the thing for that is even if I do that, I don't think that it's going to be worth it to me, because if I'm really in it for the Hyatt points, then I have to look at what could I do with Chase to be able to get those points. If I'm into Alaska, I have to look at, do I look at paying the mortgage or the rent with that, sacrifice the 3%, and what do I value Alaska miles or Atmos points at? So everybody is going to have a lot of calculations and a lot of math to do if they truly want to see if this can work for them. But there's going to be a lot of people that are going to hit the first level and say, I'm out. And I've felt that way multiple times going through this. So I share people's feelings when it comes to that. So I appreciate that, Yurik. Yurik also says their portal is more expensive than all the other portals on direct or direct booking. I thought that was the case. I've been to their portal, but like I said, I hadn't ordered anything from them. And I think it's just too competitive for them right now. Once again, expectation. I don't know if their portal, I never thought about using their portal to use any of my Bilt points on a one-to-one. It was always going to be transfer points. So I'd be curious if people are seeing if the not the transfer portal, but if I'm thinking football now, if the travel portal is any more expensive since they went to Bilt 2.0 versus Bilt 1.0. So if any of you all have actually did that with you cashing in your points or such, I'm curious of what you're seeing right now. So that is very interesting on that. But thanks for sharing that, Yurik, because that's got to be a question we all have to ask. Stacy's Travel Points, good to see you. Always like hearing from her. Hello from warm Santa Monica. Congratulations. Hope the East Coast is staying safe and warm. As for Bilt, I quit paying attention after they made changes. I'll hold out a few months and revisit it once the dust settles. Completely understand it. There's a lot of and I have to say that I'm part of that issue or problem or solution, whatever you want to view it as. There's a lot of information coming out. I thought this was going to be a dead week, that they were going to let some of the dust settle, and nope, they jumped out quick and did not seem to do too well for it. But I'm glad you're enjoying the warmth of Santa Monica. Out here, we just got a wind chill warning for the next 4 or 5 days, where the wind chill will be like 20, could be as low as 25 below zero. So really looking forward to that. Is just got to get the snow up first. So thanks for sharing, Stacy. Timote says Atmos was good for me before the recent changes. The spend worked towards status is a good perk on top of the points. Yeah, and that's a good point as well. I haven't even looked at that part, and with the Atmos Summit card for it, that all will wrap into what's the value of 3x Atmos points in sacrificing the 3% redemption. So appreciate you sharing that. And C Mize, appreciate you coming in. I think for a lot of people, if you just filter out the stuff that doesn't matter to you, it's not as confusing. The Bilt Cash coupons hold zero value for me, so I just ignore them. And that's a very good point. And I think that probably part of the problem ends up being for most people, CMIs, is that they have the decision to make to see how much do they value the Bilt Cash. Um, if you're a higher spender, it's probably an easier decision between one or the other. But if you're under that amount, if you're not going to reach the 100% amount, then they might be trying to determine if I'm not going to reach the level to use the Bilt Cash on the points for my mortgage, can I use the Bilt Cash someplace else and still get some value? I think they'll find that that's the answer is probably no. But it is something that they have to do. But yes, everybody's going to have to go through what's going to work for them, and Bilt Cash ends up being the most confusing part of it. So I think it's very good advice. And it's just a matter of where everybody gets to, how long it takes people to reach that level. So I agree with you. Nuracan71, good morning. Appreciate you stopping in. Yes, everyone stay warm except for Stacy in Santa Monica, who has no issues. Bilt Cash value is a maximum at 1%, and if you're lucky. Yeah, I try not to be. I try to keep myself from being too down on things. But this just seems to be kind of an avalanche of Bilt in just mediocre to bad news, and it's just so disappointing when everything was laid out for them. They delayed even doing Bilt 2.0. They were supposed to have this done before the end of the year. They got themselves some more time, got to see Mesa fail, and this is still the best you could do. And it's just disappointing. I don't know if it is too much arrogance of thinking that you're the only game in town, so thus we can kind of go for the gusto with this, or if you just had bad planning and didn't really read the room. And unfortunately, I feel like they didn't read the room because we've had issues before. So that's just unfortunate. Yurik pounced back in. Mesa was great. I was getting the mortgage points every month. Amount that I set was 5,000, and I don't have any mortgage. I also paid rent for a friend via Bilt and getting 3x Mesa and half a point on Bilt. Yeah, it's Mesa is the perfect example of where everything how everything can feel so good, but you just don't know what's going on underneath the water. How much the people are when you're seeing people trying to struggle in water, that their feet are kicking and such. That's what Mesa was doing and was able to blindside everybody. I thought it was a good numbers game, but clearly it was not. I will always miss Mesa. I was doing very well on it. This said, Yuri, will you get a Bilt card? That's all I need to know. Fair question. Yuri said to Stacy, we have 36 degrees right now and raining. Congratulations. I think I'm at 1 degree and the wind chill is 5 to 10 under. Stacy said, I'm hoping our flights remain okay for tomorrow. For Monday, saw 10,000 flights canceled this weekend. I'm seeing that it's up to 15,000. And I think that for if you're flying out to the East or the Midwest and you're flying tomorrow, it's not going to be a matter of being able to the weather. It's going to be a matter of how much backlog for all of the canceled flights that you have to deal with for at least out here in the Midwest to the East. So fair question, thought. No More Mr. Nice Guy says, can you use the Atmos card for mortgage with Bilt? And Bilt has rumor of not taking tax in eBay PayPal. So as far as the first question, there has been no shutdown as of yet to be able to use Atmos for your rent. And I'm sure it's going to be for the mortgage too. And I don't foresee it going away because there was something that Alaska Airlines / Atmos must have had in their agreement to allow Bilt to be the sole entity that is being able to use them as a transfer partner. I'm not saying that it was just the card and the rent, but I'm sure that it was a part of it. So I don't expect the Atmos game to get lost anytime soon because that relationship is much more valuable than them not picking up the 3%. So yes, you can use that on the Atmos. That Atmos card should be good for mortgages. I've not done the the confirmation of that, that's a job for this week, before we get to January 30th, to make some final confirmations. But I gotta believe that you're going to get the mortgage just like the rent. And as far as the not taking taxes, yeah, I did a video. The last video I did on it talked about the exclusions that are really, I guess, have been in the small print, where one, you at least in the writing of it, you can't use it on taxes. You cannot use it on different platforms like Amazon Marketplace, Etsy, would be a couple of them. They named a couple of other ones, Facebook Marketplace. They also didn't want point-to-point deals where like Venmo, for that. So now I did say that all of that sounded bad. Gift cards as well, but that's a pretty norm thing. The thing that I made sure to point out when I talked about that in the video, and it'll be in the link in the description, just to let you know, is the fact that maybe there'll be the loopholes that we see in different ones. And the couple examples I used in the video was about the Amex airline credits, where you're really only supposed to be able to use the airline credits for X. We've seen them be able to use for A, B, C, D, Y. Also, the gift card purchases. We obviously, you're not supposed to be able to do that with most credit cards, but we've obviously seen that if you're purchasing them as part of a grocery purchase, in some cases, you will be able to. So hopefully we will see something happen with that. But no, it's not a rumor. It's what they have there. And as I said in the video, I'm not aware of any other cards that restrict that kind of use in the Amazon Marketplace, Etsy, whatever. But you know why they're doing it. It's because as they give this Bilt Cash out, they are trying to eliminate any a quick grab of Bilt Cash with your tax payments. And they also don't want the ongoing accumulation of Bilt Cash, which people could be doing as resellers through the marketplace, through Etsy and such. So they really tried to cap how much damage they could take, and obviously at the detriment of people's normal way of doing business, and such. So that's going to be an interesting thing. We're going to have to see how that works out. But definitely a hard exclusion for a lot of people to take, especially if they do that kind of work. And then I see Yurik said, not clear yet, but I think no income tax for sure. The rest is unclear. Yeah, the wording has it, and a few different other people reported on it as well. But yeah, those restrictions are there for that. So, yep, thanks for sharing with that, Yurik. So I wanted to make sure to kind of touch on my views of Bilt Cash, which obviously I still want everybody to make this a personal decision that you have to make if you're looking at this. It's difficult because if you were trying to get your points or on your rent or mortgage, it's the only game in town. Other than the only other card I'm aware of is Made, and that's a new card by a new entity, and that one is no annual fee. You're getting cash back, but it's slash credits on your statement. It is gift cards, and it's under 1 cent per point. I think it's 0.6, 0.8 cents per point. I think it can vary, but I, even if I'm a cashback person, I am very reluctant to go that route with that spend. So I'd rather use the spend someplace else. So, but that's the only thing we have to work with. So I want to make sure to share that for that. And no race car, no life said if the Bilt card was a Visa, it would be a catch-all, but not Costco deal breaker. It's understandable for that. Obviously, Costco can be a treasure trove for many of us because there's no way to get out of there spending less than, well, some people have been able to do it for under 100. I have trouble getting out of there for less than 250. Other issue is also allow buying gift cards. Chase told me that you can buy gift cards. So I think the thing with the buying of the gift cards, yeah, I should make sure I say it's right. It's not that no one allows it, but it's normally not something they want to see. Now, We can take the business credit cards for Chase with the in cash, where you're dealing with the office supply stores. Clearly, people get gift cards from there, and I do as well. But I think that it's not necessarily universal that it's accepted, and it's not universal that everybody frowns upon it. So yes, there are ones that will let you do it, but I'll leave it at that. But your point's well taken on that. Um, for that. So let's go ahead and move on. Definitely, if there's any other thoughts about Bilt, definitely always up for talking about that to see what's there. I see that Simai said, from what I saw, Made isn't really for travel redemptions. It's not. It's a statement credit, quote unquote, cashback card that's less than a cent per dollar. So no, you're exactly right about that. It is not for travel redemption. It is just for the potential statement credit cashback crowd for that. So let's move on to the next item that I wanted to touch on, and it brings us to as far as on this community polls, it's me looking at Reddit to kind of seeing what are the talk about. Now, clearly the major items are built, so that goes without saying. But there was a Chase Sapphire guideline clarification that happened this week, and I find it very interesting because give it about a couple months ago or a few months ago, my wife and I, who both have Chase Sapphire preferred cards, was looking at the possibility of upgrading to get the big bonus, and we were told by Chase that one, we could obviously at that time we couldn't carry two cards, so my wife ended up getting rid of her Sapphire preferred card, then sought to get the Sapphire Reserve and get the welcome bonus, but then was ended up finding out that she was not eligible for the welcome bonus. And it wasn't because it was less than 48 months since she got the welcome bonus, because it was more than that, but that she wasn't allowed to talk to the rep. Rep says, nope, can't do it. Then we got a letter about a month later that encouraged her to please reapply, that what we were told was incorrect as far as the points, not that we couldn't carry both. Now we have some information now as far as what this is looking like. So I want to make sure that everybody's aware of it for it. So basically what it's saying is, as of January 22nd, the Chase is now saying that eligible Sapphire card members can now earn a welcome bonus offer on each Sapphire card once per card, as long as they haven't previously received a welcome bonus offer on that card. And they even provided an example that said a current Chase Sapphire Reserve cardholder who has never had a Chase Sapphire Preferred card is eligible to earn a welcome bonus offer on a new Chase Sapphire Preferred card account. So, one, that's great. Glad to see it, because a lot of people that have the Sapphire Preferred, such as myself, I would probably, if I was going to get a Sapphire Reserve, I probably would keep the Sapphire Preferred for it. It can pay for itself with the pretty much the $50 hotel credits, easy to use, and for the $45 cost in, I'm okay with that normally. But the one thing that they did not give details on, and I would make sure to caution people to be aware of it, is we don't. It obviously sounds like lifetime language. We don't know the specifics of what that restriction is. We clearly are gone from the 48-month Sapphire guideline that was existing. But is this as strict as the American Express lifetime language? Or is there a loophole in all? That is the answer we don't know about this. But I'm curious of what you all's thoughts are, if this changes your mind at looking at either getting both, or if you're looking to get one of those cards right now. It looks like that the Sapphire Reserve and the Sapphire Preferred have both kind of settled in at 75,000 points for the Preferred and 125,000 points for the Reserve. They still say new card member offer, but they don't have any of those banners anymore talking about limited time offer or ending soon. So I think they feel like they need to keep those numbers up to try to keep the numbers of people getting those cards up. We saw that a bit when they were kind of shuffling around on the Sapphire Reserve, and I think they're going to continue that for a while. But I'm curious of what you all's thoughts are. I'm not in the I wouldn't mind the Sapphire Reserve. I'd have to really kind of figure out if I can make it work as far as the covering that annual fee cost. But the reality is, I'm already in on 2 Amex Platinums that I just saw the annual fee come up, and was sitting down with my wife as far as really calculating, is there enough credits in there that we would normally use, not that we have to manufacture spend on, or we have to manufacture an event on. And I think we can, as we're looking at travel, but the reserve would be a hard lift for me to add on to that. So I'm curious of how other people are going to be looking at that. See, Yurik said, I use the Wyndham Business for gas at 8X, and for Costco, I use gift cards for ODOM. Let's see what that is, Staples or PayPal debit. ODOM. Goodness, I'm bad with my acronym on that ODOM or on that one. So I have to claim ignorance on that one. The other ones I definitely am aware of. So appreciate that. The other item I thought was interesting because my answer is, unfortunately, is going to be a bit embarrassing as far as the other question that came up. The other item that came up is, what is your worst credit card and why do you still have it? And that's a very good question. If you already have identified a bad credit card, why do you still have it? So in my case, I'm not a person that has a huge number of cards. I haven't even counted them lately. It's maybe somewhere in the 15 to 20 card range, something like that. But I have a card back from when my credit was really low, and it is Merrick Bank, and I still have it. I think it has a $1,000 credit limit on it, and I pay $4 monthly maintenance fee. I do not have a good answer of why. I just have not. I've tried to cancel it one time, and I didn't put enough time in because you have to talk to somebody, and I've just had it. And so after I saw that question, it is one I'm going to get canceled this month. I have not used that card in probably a year or two on it. So I'm curious if you all have identified what you all's worst card in your credit card tool belt is, and why do you still have it on it? So be curious what you all's thoughts are, or maybe you all are so good that you all don't have a bad credit card. But if you're live on, let me know in the chat, and if you're seeing this afterwards, let me know in the comment section. I just thought it was an interesting one. Let's move into the next item here. And this is, as far as the weekly briefing, is to kind of just touch on some different credit card bonuses and news that you can use for this week. So to kind of make sure to keep you all up to date. So the first item is we have the Marriott Bonvoy business card with American Express, 3 award nights, which are up to 50,000 points each for $6,000 in purchases in the first 6 months. I put in there as a reminder that you can top off the Marriott award nights by up to 15,000 points, and you also get the 35,000 annual night award with that card. Bank of America, I've not put this in. I've talked about it on a couple of videos when I talk about the best credit card bonuses. But if you're a cashback person, Bank of America's customized cash rewards, 6% on the category of your choice for your first year. It's normally 3%. They're going to double it for that first year. And you'll also get $200 in cash back after $1,000 in spend in the first 90 days. And that's a no annual fee card. We've got the Atmos Ascent and the Atmos Business cards that have elevated offers. Venture has now gone with adding in that $250 travel credit, which we've seen happen before. Does have to be used in their portal, but it is one that has been a nice sweetener on a $95 credit card, if it's something to look at, to consider. Chase also Chase has the Marriott Bonvoy Bold in the Boundless cards with free nights valued at 50,000 points each. The Bold is a no annual fee credit card, so getting 2 free nights for $1,000 in spend in the first 3 months can definitely take you a long way on a no annual fee card. And the Bonvoy Boundless has essentially your lodging for a vacation wrapped up into your welcome bonus. That could be as high as 250,000 points if you fully maximize that up to 50,000 points that each night can be worth after spending $3,000 in the first 3 months. IHG has now come back out with some high welcome bonuses. Their One Rewards card, which is the no annual fee card, 90,000 points after $2,000 in spend in the first 3 months. And then you can get, and we've seen this with these 2-tier or 3-tier welcome bonuses, where unfortunately, almost all the time, the second and the third tier is diminished. So the second tier is you can get up to another 30,000 points on 3x purchases. It cannot be on IHG though, but if you're making other regular purchases, they can be evaluated at 3x up to 30,000 points. So I don't view that as a welcome bonus because I have to spend to get it beyond the welcome bonus sign up bonus spend, but that may be something that of interest. So for me, I only count it as 90,000 points. Then we have the IHG One Rewards Premier card with just a straight 175,000 points after $5,000 on purchases in the first 3 months. Now, I'm a fan of the One Rewards Premier card. I have it for the business card, and when I did it, it was 140,000 points, and that is points that I'm still holding on to potentially take a trip to like Budapest because they have a very nice, good value hotel there to use as part of it. And it's a different part of the world that I've never been to. So World of Hyatt has up to 5 free nights. And on this, you get 3 free nights after $5,000 in spend in the first 3 months. Now you'll get 2 additional nights if you after $15,000 in purchases in the first 6 months. Now, while that will get you 5, with the spend that you have on there, it could be as much as 7 nights based upon the spend that you would have accumulated on there. So if you are a person that is going to be looking at big spending, this may be an option. And if you're a Hyatt fan person or a person that really utilizes them a lot, that may be an option worth considering. Don't forget about the milestone items that will get you the additional nights. And these are category 1 to 4 versus how many points they're worth. And that can be worth more depending upon how you utilize them because of the fact that Hyatt is broken out into off-peak, regular, and peak pricing. So you can get more value out of it depending upon where you end up going. Aer Lingus, British Airways, and Iberia, which are the Avios ones, they have 90,000 points after $5,000 in spend in the first 3 months. Disregard the annual fee that I've listed on there. They're all $95, I believe. That's going to end on March 11th. Citi continues to have their 100th anniversary and have the elevated offers on the Platinum card, the Globe, and the Executive cards. Wells Fargo still has the Choice Hotels at 60,000 points after $1,000 in spend, and that's their no annual fee card. As far as a couple of quick notes to share with you all, Preferred Hotels doesn't have a very large footprint, but they do, if you are a person that's been interested in them, double points promotion, registration is required. I'll have a link for that in the description from their site. It does require a 2-night minimum, but if you're a member, you normally get 10x per dollar. This will bump it to 20x per dollar. You do have to book by April 30th, and your stays have to be between March 1st and April 30th. Now, the double points will not be added to your bonus points that you would get with gold at 20% and platinum members at 50%, and they do not count towards elite status. So make sure to keep those things in mind. Now, as far as Delta Sky Clubs, we have got a lot of different information about them, some going on now, some in the future. So they're going to open a Las Vegas Delta Sky Club in 2029. That's pretty far out. If you've been through Vegas, it is very competitive going on there right now between the Centurion. You've also got the Capital One. Capital One I've been to both. It's just a different feeling, atmosphere, service, everything that I completely am on board with them. Now, Chase has a location there now that just opened up recently. Haven't seen that one as of yet, but Capital One, it's going to be tough to beat them out. Now, we don't know any specifics as far as the Delta Sky Club one, so we'll just have to see because we obviously are 3 years out. Jacksonville's location, they relocated and they're going to reopen in 2027. It's going to be 3 times the size of the one that was there before. In Tampa, they're going to open an airside Delta Sky Club in Terminal D. That'll be in 2028. And then Atlanta, they finished their ones at A17, A Center Point, and C37. And on the whole, that increased the capacity by 15%. And then Philadelphia reopened with the capacity being doubled. So Delta Sky Clubs, when it comes to all of the different airlines, I'm the biggest fan of theirs. I've been to all of the other ones. They just seem to keep pushing and putting together a very good product for the Sky Club when you compare it to United and American Airlines. Although, once again, the standard version, not flagship lounge, not Delta One, not the United. Not in the United. So, but those have been very good, and so it's good to see for those. And then we have Harry Styles. Now, you're probably thinking, why am I talking about Harry Styles on this live stream? Well, there is a item there for Amex. Amex has pre-purchase of tickets for his 30-day residency in New York. And that residency is between August 26th and October 31st. It is his only US location that he's doing. I listed down the other locations in Amsterdam, London, Melbourne, Mexico City, New York, Sao Paulo, and Sydney, Australia. That one, I'll have a link for American Express's website. They say eligible American Express cards. They don't say anything specific. They just say they're not the prepaid cards. So if you're interested in a Harry Styles tour stop, definitely make sure to check out the link to be able to do work with that. But I wanted to throw that out there for you. Mapito's Safari Camp. I mentioned this when it was first being talked about, and a lot of the different hotel chains are really getting into the safari game there. And so this is Marriott's Autograph location over in the Serengeti, Tanzania. 15 luxury tents, decks, each individual decks with retractable roofs. They basically are saying you're going to see the big five, which are lions, leopards, rhinos, elephants, and African buffaloes, as well as the great wildebeest migration that occurs by there. 4 restaurants and bars, day and nighttime safaris. It's $1,872 a night or 179,000 Marriott Bonvoy points. So something interesting if you're looking to do something off the beaten path. Choice hotel points, that one is good. That buying choice points with up to a 40% discount is going to end on the 27th. It has a very low threshold to get there at only 10,000 points is the 40%. The last best one they had was 60%, and that was back in November. So if you're a choice hotel person and need to top off something, this may be something to consider. Now, as far as the strategy session, and let me make sure to get back here real quick. Let's see, a lot of good comments. Bear with me a second here. And Uric says, I've stayed at a lot of preferred hotels. They are better than Hyatt. That's good to hear. I've not had an opportunity to stay at one of the ones under the I Prefer program. Thanks for pointing that out. James ends up saying, "Do you you fancy?" Uric says, my favorite preferred is in Medellin. Was bought by Hilton, which is unfortunate. Oh, interesting. And then I see Arn Alley says, I have Buc-ee's near me. That is close, if not exactly the same price I use on gas. I use my CCC there instead. Okay. Yeah, I've heard of Buc-ee's. Not in my state, but I've heard about it from other people for that. Stacy's ended up saying, I'm staying in an I preferred hotel right now. Oh, great. It is gorgeous. You have to pay taxes and fees. Hotel staff is so attentive. The Huntley in Santa Monica, 56,250 points on a 1 to 4 from City. Thanks for sharing that. It's one I've definitely heard about, not had the opportunity. Yurik says we have a gas station which are cheaper than Costco. Let's see. And John, appreciate you stopping in. Always good seeing you. I know John, I might be off on John's recent video. I know he was talking about Delta on the last one that I got to see. But definitely make sure to check out John. We both got into this roughly around the same time. Definitely a very good person as far as a different, not kind of the run of the mill video for you to be able to kind of get his feelings and his thoughts on. So I always encourage people to make sure to check him out. So thanks for stopping through. Costco is a must in California. Yeah, even here in Ohio, between the quality of the gas and shaving off that dime or 15 cents for some of the people, and especially for you all's taxes there in California, I can understand that. I see that he also was saying Bucky's is a nice station, though. Yurik said that yes, but it's too crowded and decided to leave California 6 years ago. Couldn't be cheaper. And James said, "Yep, everyone is leaving." Andre popped in. Do we have any update on Bilt Rent Day for February? The short answer is no, we do not. This is running pretty late. Normally, we would get some information out. We normally would hear information within a week. I think that Bilt is scrambling to try to determine what they want to do, and do they come out big, strong, and kind of go back to the old way where status makes a difference to help encourage people getting the Palladium card to get that gold status and potentially that 100% point transfer, or do they try to kind of slow play it again, not that much to it, nothing that special, and then end up waiting to see how letting some of the dust settle. So for right now, we don't have any information, but I would assume that we're going to see something within the next day or two. They have to. I mean, we're getting near the end of the month, but not right now. But I appreciate you checking in on that. Yes, you need to pay taxes in preferred, but in some countries, they don't charge taxes for tourists. Colombia and Israel are examples. Thank you for sharing that. Getting a very good reading on I preferred. Appreciate it. As far as the strategy session, I'm going back to something that we talked about a bit earlier, and it is on the FIFA World Cup in the Sapphire PreSale. Now, we have new information on that so that you can absolutely be ready to do this for football, and I'm going to call it that because that's the worldwide name for it. But let's talk about this because this is a huge event here all throughout North America that's coming up. So Chase is going to be providing exclusive access to tickets for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Now, what's really good about this is that the access is for Chase Sapphire Reserve, Sapphire Reserve Business, JP Morgan Reserve, and the Sapphire Preferred. A lot of times when you see these different deals, the quote unquote low cost card does not get included. So for $95 credit card, you're going to get into this as well. Now, the sale will begin February 10th at noon. It will run through the 24th or while supplies last. I think we can be pretty confident that you're going to need to get into this early to be able to make this work. Do not think that you're going to get the full 2 weeks to be able to still get tickets. And we'll talk more about that in a moment. Now, if you're interested in any of those cards, you can still get them in your hands before the sale begins to participate. And I highlighted that Chase Sapphire Preferred $95 annual fee with 75,000 points for $5,000 in spend in the first 3 months. So if that is something of interest to you or any of those, it's that you still have a window if FIFA is a big thing that you're going to be looking at. And I would also end up saying that if there's a referral link if you're interested, Same amount of points and everything. That'll be in the description if that is of interest. Now, there is a cap, 4 tickets per match and 40 total for the tournament. So you can still clean up a lot of tickets, but those are the caps per match and for the tournament. Now, these tickets have already been on sale multiple times with FIFA and with different groups. I think Marriott had something, Qatar had something with them as well previously. The resale market is absolutely off the chain as far as the prices of some of these tickets. But there is no lottery and there's no waiting list. So when you do this, if you jump into this, you are going all in for everything right then. There's no stages. It's not like they're going to do locations by day or by hour. You need to be fully prepared for whatever matches you want to be able to go see. Now, the access to the sale is by verifying your card. Now, there's 2 parts to this. One is there's the Chase website that I will, once again, of course, I'll have links for this in the description. There's a link for Chase where you're going to verify your card, and then it will take you to make the purchases. When you get there, you're going to have have a FIFA ticket account already set up. I'll have a link for the FIFA ticket website so that you can create an account there, because time is going to be of the essence once you get logged in. We all know how Ticketmaster works, where you've got a timed segment before you lose the tickets that you wanted to do. So be fully prepared for this. Get signed up, create both accounts if you need to. Once again, the links will be there. Now, the locations may disappoint some people because these matches are happening not just in the United States, but in Canada as well as Mexico. The only locations that are part of this are the ones in the United States. Canada and Mexico are not included as part of this sale. So yeah, hopefully, if you were interested in this, you are going to be, it's going to be ones that are happening in the United States, so you're not missing anything. So I wanted to make sure to share that with you because I know there's a lot of people that are into football for that. Yorick says, I think that Wells Fargo kicked them out and they couldn't find any good bank, so they went with a bank that where they paid rent with. It's interesting. Tim said the new Salt Lake Concourse B Delta Sky Club is fire. Yeah, I've heard about it and I've seen some images. I don't see any time I'm going to get over to Salt Lake anytime soon. But I appreciate you sharing that. I heard a lot of good things about it. Would love to go on a World WC game. Yeah. I'm not a huge football person for soccer. I actually have to qualify it. But for that, I'd be interested. Here in Central Ohio, we do have MLS for that, but World Cup would be an interesting thing to see because you don't necessarily get that all the time. And would go to the Atlanta or the Miami location for that, or maybe Dallas or Houston as well. So yeah, but I wanted to make sure that you all aware of that, especially because the Sapphire Preferred at $95 potentially gets you access to this, and that you don't have to have the high-priced card. But those are the main things that I wanted to talk with you all about today. Like I said, I'll have my Bilt Cash video out to everybody tomorrow and to the members of the advisory board today, which, as I mentioned, will be in the description if you like to consider it. And then we'll keep an eye out for the Bilt Rent Day. It should be coming up, but as I mentioned, I think there's some concerns of where they want to go with this. Are they going to be able to put something out big that makes people kind of take the next step to say, okay, I'm going to get the Palladium, I'm going to get this, especially the Palladium because you get gold status with it. Might be something where they might be able to seal the deal with people. But the other thing might be is that they might want some of the negative publicity to kind of drop down a bit and come back in March. But we've got that January 30th deadline for that. That might be the other part of the problem too. If they go big for February to try to promote the whole gold status, the problem is people aren't going to have cards quick enough to be able to utilize it. So I think that February, we probably won't see much. March will be probably the best that they can offer to kind of jumpstart everything. But I'll be curious to see what ends up happening with that. And as soon as I get that information, I'll make sure to share it with you all in a live stream to be able to talk with you all about it. And so if there's not anything else that you all have on you all's mind, that's the news I wanted to be able to share with you all today. Cannot thank you all enough for taking you all's time, whether it's your snowpocalypse like me, the ice apocalypse for people down in southeastern, or if it is Stacy that has no apocalypse other than some good weather in Santa Monica. That's great as well. Hopefully we can see where we go with Bilt. Maybe they're, once again, I'm hoping they have a card up their sleeve that we can that I can talk positive about something new with them, but we're going to have to see. So cannot thank you all enough. Make sure if you all have any questions, let me know in the comments section, and we'll talk with you all soon. You all take care.